Hi, welcome back to Genesis Custom Sabers, and I'm very proud today to present to you Echo of Jedha. Now this is the first Elite, GCS Elite custom saber that I've made in many months. I'm only going to be doing 1 or 2 of these a year. These sabers, and this saber in particular, is intended to be my absolute best work. It's got the Crystal Focus version 9 in it, excellent sound card, with the Tri-Cree LED properly driven because the Crystal Focus with the color extender has 3 voltage regulators, so it can properly drive the LED, getting the most out of it. So the saber is very bright. One of the things that I love about the Crystal Focus, well, all of Plector Labs cards, is the motion recognition is instant, virtually instant. So there's no delay between the action and, in this case, the flash or the sound. Everything happens virtually in real time. Everything happens virtually in real time. So the saber and the sound fonts flow beautifully. It's got the spin sound, so when you spin the saber, you actually get a spin sound. Then you stop spinning the saber, and it goes back to regular swing sounds. And that's just spinning motion, so like figure eights. So it sounds more realistic. You've got your blaster block sounds, lock up, 16 different clash sounds, 16 different swing sounds, and that's just one sound font. Of course, you can change color. So you pick a color, and it'll remember that color the next time you come around to that sound font. This saber is loaded with 12 of my sound fonts. To switch sound font,
sound bank selection.
You hold down the auxiliary button. That puts it into the menu. You can toggle now between the different sound fonts. You select one by holding it down. It boots up the new sound font, and it'll remember the last color that was used when that sound font was activated. Of course, in some sound fonts, like my Vader, you've got pitch shifting. So the hum changes depending on the orientation of the saber. So it's an excellent saber. It's dialed in to be used perfectly right out of the box, so there's no fine tuning required. Everything is dialed in and ready to go. This saber is certified for full dueling. It's shock-proof. It's ready to go. It's meant to be the centerpiece of someone's collection, but because everything's shock-proofed, it can be dueled with. You can use it for full-on dueling. I would rate it for probably moderate dueling, simply because it's going to end up being so expensive. I would hate to see someone do full-on dueling and end up bending a piece of the aluminum shroud or something like that. But it is made to be used, made to be fought with. It's made to be as real as possible. Okay, this video is going to serve as the operating instructions for this fine saber, and I'm also going to point out some of the really cool features that I employed with this one. First things first is there's a kill key here that covers the 2.1mm recharge port. So that's where you plug in your recharger that will come with the saber. Pull out the kill key. You don't want to lose that. And you hear the saber boot up. So now it's booted up and ready to go. Now this saber comes with one of my blade plugs. You can see the light shining through just the tip there. You also see the light shining through on a little bit of a lens there. So that blade plug will be supplied with this saber. To put a blade in, you just loosen off the blade screw, the blade plug comes out. You can get those at Shapeways. Those are available in my Shapeways store. To put a blade in, any standard 1-inch polycarbonate blade, in this case it's a thin-walled diffused blade with film. You tighten it up so it doesn't go flying through someone's window when you're swinging it around. The white button, or the bone-colored button, activates the saber. That's the auxiliary button. And you can, of course, swing it around, fight with it. And I showed you already how to change sound fonts. When the saber is activated, you can also see that there's a lime green animation through the LEDs on board the Crystal Focus through a lens that actually projects. You can see the projection on my hand, just projecting some animations. If I hold down the auxiliary button, see if I can do this, you get the battery level meter, up to 4 bars. So right now it's 2 of 4 bars, so now the battery's starting to wear down. I'll have to charge that up. But that's how to operate this saber. I want to point out too, the D-ring it's got a little rubber bushing in there so it doesn't flop around. Sometimes when you have a D-ring on a saber, when you swing the saber, the D-ring is going flap, 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 and it's this annoying noise. This saber is designed so that the D-ring is actually going to stay in a secure place so it doesn't make those annoying vibrations when you're using the saber. As you can see, this saber's got my Krayt bone, fake bone technique, and acid etching throughout the saber. As a brand new etching pattern, if you look closely, it's actually patterned after the plant life on Felucia. So I kind of wanted to go with a balance, the life, the death, and so somehow tell the story of this mysterious Jedi and how their saber became lost for eons on the planet Jedha. That's why the name Echo of Jedha. So it's intended to be a very old, aged saber, like it's a relic that's just been discovered. So I don't permit, for warranty purposes, the taking apart of the saber other than putting blades in and out. Save this part that I'm about to show you with the kill key out. You do not want to do this with the kill key in because it'll pinch it. You can unscrew the bottom half of the saber. Maybe you've seen this before on my GCS Elite sabers. The bottom half comes off to expose and reveal the crystal chassis. Just a close-up of the crystal chassis. You can see I've got, one of the things I like to do in my high-end sabers is this is an all-metal chassis. So this is a powder-coated, painted, treated metal chassis. These are chemically aged copper rods that I machined. All the wires run through those copper rods. You can see there's brass formed pins down in there that actually make points. They point to the crystal from either end. It's a genuine quartz crystal, genuine brass and aluminum fittings inside the saber. A little bit of color in there along with the aging and the weathering. So I tried to put a lot of thought and a lot of detail into this custom saber. I wanted this to be weathered as well, so I went with kind of like a Hoth electro binoculars kind of style weathering on that. And the 3D printed plastic parts here are weathered as well, like dust has settled in there. So it looks like a very old saber, but everything is shockproof and dialed in. Now this is important. Do not use the saber in display mode like this. It's meant to be used when it's fully assembled. It's very durable, but when it's exposed like this is just for display mode. You can see the crystal in there. It's a genuine quartz crystal and it is shockproofed, so nothing's going to rattle loose on this saber. Of course, when you activate the saber, the crystal goes from pulsing to matching the blade, so it matches the blade color and does what the blade does. Of course, you've got your animations there in the bar graph. In display mode, there is one other cool thing. I'm going to put it in a menu.
Sound bank selection. Audio player.
So audio player, you can play music. The first font is Calibrate. I'm going to select that one. And that gives it like a crystal display. So it's meant to be sitting here on display. You can hear it make different crystal sounds. There's a faint hum. It's as if you're dialing in and calibrating your crystal. So that's just a really cool font for display mode. You can turn it off. You notice the speaker is a lot quieter when it's not assembled because it doesn't have the resonance that's provided by the assembly of the saber. You can pick a different sound font, select it, and remember whatever the last color was on that sound font. Now, to make changes to this saber, there's a couple of different things you can do. There's a rice port, and you can plug in the supplied rice cable. Plug that into your computer. As long as you have the drivers and the rice Crystal Focus version 9 program, you can make real-time changes to the saber, the colors, the performance, and that kinds of thing. It's all dialed in and ready to go anyways, but if you wanted to add some custom colors or change some things, you could. You can also change the fonts on the SD card. In order to do that, you just insert the kill key. It turns off power to the saber. And then working on a flat surface, you just pinch these two little triangles, there and there. You just pinch those and you can pry the crystal chassis part forward a little bit. It's a bit of a tight fit, but, whoops. But it is possible to gently work out this cover. And once you've got the cover out, then you can use Magic Implement, which is a pencil eraser, and you can just press in the SD card and you see it clicks, and you can just pop that out, put that in your computer, make changes, put new sound fonts on. There's a video that I'll link to showing how to do that. And when you're ready, you put your SD card back in, you make sure it's clicked, take out your kill key, you hear the boot up sound, it means it's ready to go. The back end goes in first when you're replacing this, and it just snaps down. And that is a good solid fit, ready to go. Then you can reassemble the saber, obviously with the kill key out, the same way you disassembled it. Now I do want to point out one thing for maintenance. It's dialed in so that that recharge port matches perfectly when the saber is threaded. If for whatever reason, through use or dueling, that doesn't line up anymore, there is a set screw right there. You can back that set screw off 1/2 a turn, and then it would be possible to shift the chassis just a little bit. You don't want to turn it too much. It'll break wires. But you can shift it just a little bit to realign that recharge port if you ever need to. I make these sabers this way. I've made them for this way for a long time. Haven't heard of anyone actually having to do that. Like I said, they're dialed in and ready to go. So that's this saber. I hope the new owner is really pleased with it. And I hope it's going to be the centerpiece of your saber collection. Thanks again for watching.